Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you are curious about what this is or you have got a wee bit lost. Feel free to stick around, it might be fun. I am Chatty, this is my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I am going to be chatting away madly about my September TBR, or more effectively, my Magical Readathon TBR, because September is the another month of the Magical Readathon, which I really enjoy doing. So most of my books are going to be sort of aimed to be trying to hit those prompts. So I'm going to talk through basically the prompts and then throw in any of the books that I don't quite get to. Some prompts I've already decided, some you're going to come along the journey with me and we're going to work it out together what I might be reading. So it's going to be fun. There will be chaos, there will be waffle, because that's what happens here. I've got my little tiny teacup. On this channel, if you don't know, my long videos, kind of the camera keeps rolling. I don't edit them. If you're interested, I'm on take number 2 because the waffle was out of hand. So here we go. It is one shot, there is no editing. Clink, 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 clink. So welcome everyone, thank you so much for popping in, it really means a lot. If you would like to click the like, I did it again. In the first one that I just deleted, I did the call me hand signal with a little finger out. That needs to be tucked back in there. It is a thumbs up. I'm trying to do a thumbs up. So, don't know. Please don't call me. It's fine. I'm happy to just chat in the comments. That's also rather lovely. We've gone off in a weird tangent again, but we're just going to go with it today. Yeah, that'd be nice. And if you like the vibe, subscribe. That would be marvellous. And if you've come back, thank you so much. I hope you're excited to hear about books. Please tell me about the books you're hoping to read and let me know if you are also taking part in the Magical Readathon. If you do not know what the Magical Readathon is, in the description box I will put a link to the channel Book Roast by G, and also the videos that she does about the Magical Readathon announcement. And if you've not heard of it before and don't know where to start, you can join in. You can continue, I've been doing this for a while, or you can just join in. It's completely fine, and she will explain all of that in the videos. But essentially it's sort of taking part in a magical university. You give yourself a character and they have to complete classes to get grades and then a career. So we are at the Autumn Equinox, which is essentially like the next part of your exams. So you do one in the Spring Equinox in April, where we take a whole load of subjects and now we narrow it down and we have to hit certain levels. So I'm going to talk you through what I'm going to be doing. All of the books that I talk about will be in the description. So if you want a better idea of what they're about, I don't tend to talk too much about the synopsis because I like to know as little as possible about the books I'm reading. So if you want more, you can click the link, go into Storygraph, see that, see other people's ratings and reviews, and also see those trigger warnings as well in case that is something you need before picking up a book. Okay, hopefully that explains it. I do have timestamps as well, so you can click around if something's not interesting and you want to skip. Sorry for anyone who enjoys the book game that I do, Bookworms and Book Ladders. I have decided not to do it again this month just because I've got a certain batch of books I didn't get to in August that I wanted to, that I'm carrying over. Plus, I know I want my prompts to hit the Magical Readathon ones, so it didn't feel like I was able to also do a book game as well. I will definitely be bringing it back in October because I miss it. I do want to play it again, and I know that quite a few of you, when I did my July book game, were sad that Pet Pick never actually came up. I was also sad Pet Pick didn't come up. So I will be starting off with a Pet Pick for the first go. So I'll definitely be bringing the guinea pigs in to my book choosing in October. Anyway, let's start off with the Magical Readathon. So I'm going to grab a drink and my notes. So my character is called Piola's Surloip. He is an elf and is a swot and likes to do as much as possible. He has chilled out over his time at ORILIUM. He's managed to make a group of friends. He now has a boyfriend, and he's got sort of like a bit of extracurricular stuff going on at the same time, sort of helping with sort of magical blacksmithing and organising that. So thankfully, he is just going to be focusing on Star Whisperer and the bits that he needs. And if he finishes that, then maybe he will go on to pursuing at a higher level the scribe aspect. Back in the Spring Equinox, Piola's did manage to complete all of the subjects he needed for Star Whisperer, and also scribe. So he can continue on to his studies. I do just continue until I've read the books. I don't worry too much if I don't get it done in the month, because that takes the stress around and keeps it fun for me. So I have hit all of the things I needed to, so we can just get straight on with the books that he needs to read for the autumn equinox. So Star Whisperer. For Star Whisperer, Piolas needs an O in the art of illusion, a D in astronomy, so we're now on 4 books, an O in lore, a D in psionics and divination, so that will mean 8 books altogether, because you have to read for each grade, O, Q and D. Scribe, which I'll come on to later on, but I'll just let you know anyway, is an O in elemental studies, a D in inscription, an O in restoration, and a Q in lore. So that would be 7 books, but technically 6, because the Q in lore means we've done an O in lore from the Star Whisperer. So just 6 more books possibly, but also Piolas really enjoys alchemy and sometimes does that just as an extracurricular one. So we'll see how we get on, but I'm trying to, you know, rein him in a little bit. So Art of Illusion, the first thing that we need to be studying, no, not Art of Illusion, Star Whisperer, the first thing we need to be studying is the Art of Illusion. So for O level in the Art of Illusion, we will be studying Image Generator. And the prompt for that is to get an emoji, random emoji generator, press it and see what emoji pings up, and link that book, link that picture to a book. So I couldn't do this with you because basically the internet I use is on my phone, and I also film with my phone. So I just did it before. So I pressed randomize and I got a siren. So yes, a red twirling flashing light siren. And after thinking about it for a while, I have decided to go for the Henna Wars by Abida Jagirda. So this is a YA contemporary, and I have linked it to a siren because we've got a nice red spine. But the synopsis of this book talks about that it deals with the theme of our protagonist Hishat coming out to her parents as a lesbian. So that happens quite early on in the book, and then it's her kind of dealing with how that affects her family, her culture, her school life, and things like that. So I very much feel that initial conversation for everyone involved probably was a little bit of a woo 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 signal, because you get the impression from reading the synopsis that the conversation doesn't, you know, you don't get the best case scenario of, you know, open arms, doesn't make a difference, you do you, great, good for you, which Hishat possibly wants, needs, and also deserves. Not possibly, we are true. All of those things are true. And also I would imagine that Hishat also approached this conversation with, I'm gonna do it, just building it up. So it is a little bit like warning signals. We're going in for this chat. There is also some romantic feelings going on in here as well, and I often think that you probably in your head have also got this alarm siren thing going off, like, oh my goodness, someone I like is approaching me, woo woo. So yeah, I feel it fits that. I feel it fits that quite well. So Henna Wars, as well as exploring Hishat's journey, the plot is about having to come up with kind of like a business plan in their class. And Hishat decides that she is going to, you know, sell henna art. She's going to do henna art on people, and someone else also has that same idea. So they are, what's the word? Enemies isn't quite the word. Competitors. So there is also a competition aspect in this as well. I heard really, really good things from Olivia at Olivia's Catastrophe about this book. And then I recently saw it in Aldi. I've never seen Aldi sell books. Aldi is it's like a supermarket chain, grocery store, if you will. And yeah, and I saw this and I was like, I've wanted to read that book for a while. It's an amazing bargain. I will get it. And I recently hauled it because I was hoping to read it on holiday, but didn't quite get around to it. So yeah, I'm very keen to read this one. Okay, next subject is astronomy. So O level in astronomy is the constellation cradle. So the prompt for this is that you have to read a book released in your birth month. It can be any year, but it needs to have been released in your birth month. And for that, I have a book that I've had at the library for a while that I really, really want to read. I did want to own at one point as well, but I've had to kind of like restrict myself with book buying. And this is Ember Spark and the Thunder Dragons by Abby Elphinstone. It is a middle grade fantasy. I love Abby Elphinstone's work, and this was released in May this year. So it fits perfectly. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I loved the Unmapped Chronicles by Abby Elphinstone. I just love her narrative voice. It's going to be cozy, it's going to be magical, and I'm here for all of those things. The next in astronomy is the Q level, and for that we are studying the constellation Castle. And this is to read a book with a castle on the cover. Now, for this one, it definitely has a castle on the cover, but you're not going to spot it straight away. This is the Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons. And on the front of this book, we have these wonderful sort of rocky mountains and some further rocky mountains, but the darker ones, so you've got like red ones to start off with, and then behind them you've got black ones in like a shadow, but you can see the shape of it is the mountains are actually these wings of this dragon, and with the dragon's head kind of coming out in the middle. And if you also look at the crags of the dragon's wings and the mountains, you can see they've actually got turrets on, so they look very castle-like. And then if you look down at these kind of like flamey mountains, you will also see turrets as well, and you will see that they are castles. So there's a lot of castles going on this cover. I have actually read the prologue for this. I did want to read this in July, but it didn't happen. I wanted to give it its best shot. I then wanted to read it before I went on holiday. I didn't want to take it on holiday because it's a hardback. Yes, you are getting unnecessary detail here. And I was hoping to buddy read this with people on Sarah's Discord. There was a buddy read for The Sky on Fire, and all these people really enjoyed Chorus of Dragons, and Bridget invited me to join this chat, and I just wasn't quite in the mind frame. So I asked them to hold me accountable. I said I get back from my holiday and then I'm ready to read, because I'm just not going to have time. I don't want to go not having read it. I don't want it to get destroyed. I'm really excited about this book. I want to be in the best mind frame. So September, it's definitely going to be read. I'm definitely here for it. Come on, we can do this. I'm excited. Okay, finally, I have one that I don't have already assigned a book for. That was terrible, terrible English there. For the next prompt, I haven't assigned a book for it, and you will see why. I'm just going to do my little Bryn impression from Gavin and Stacey, and I'll tell you for why. Because this is level D in astronomy, the constellation dice. So we get to roll a dice, and that is going to decide the number of pages. So if you roll a 1, it's between 100 and 200 pages. A 2, 201 to 300. And so on and so forth until we get to 6, which is 601 to 700 pages. Let's see what I get. I have my big mug, my big cake mug. I'm going to roll the dice in here. Shaking, I'm not looking at it, and I'm just going to release it in the mug, and I'm not looking either, and I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to show you the face. This is the face. It's a 1! Which sounds great, but actually I struggle with books that are small. 3 or 4 would have been lovely. A book between 100 and 200 pages. I don't know if I have that. I might just have to go for the smallest book that I can find. I'll have a rummage. All novellas I have out, I have already read. But there is a book I haven't earned yet that I was kind of hoping to get to. Yeah, it's still in its water stain packaging. Haven't earned it yet, I'm going to put it back. But Queen Bee by Juno Dawson is a short book. It's a novella. It's got yellow sprayed edges. It's very exciting. Ooh. Trying to look at the thanks are on 171. I won't look any further. That fits. Oh my goodness, that fits. How perfect is that? absolutely need to be making sure I am healthy so I can earn this book. So I'm just going to leave it in its Waterstone casing because I just feel I haven't earned it yet. I can't actually have it out and look at it and watch it being pretty. So I'm going to put that on the pile in its packaging. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, dice. Thank you, dice. That's lovely. Okay, right, wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I better tell you what Queen Bee is. So Queen Bee is the prequel to Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, and it is following the story of the Coven's founder, Anne Boleyn, and it is told from the point of view of her lesbian lover. This is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I love Juno Dawson's snarky voice. I can't wait for this. This is going to be incredible. Right, okay, let's go back to focusing. So we've done astronomy. We now have a pile of 4 books. Let's keep moving. Law is on the next page. And zero. Let's try that again. An O in law is studying Illyrian history. So if you look at the map, the Illyrian, not the map, the different races in ORILIUM, the Illyrians are kind of like linked to vampires. So the prompt is to read a book with vampires. Now I had thought about getting the second book to A City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaffer, Cage of Dreams, but I have found a book that I actually own that I also do need to be reading that has vampires, and that is Crule Illusions by Margie Fustum, and it says win or die on the cover, and on the back it says a deadly competition, a magical secret society, a chance for revenge. And all of this is in black with red foiling, and there's also a castle on there as well, so if you're looking for another book with a castle, that's there. And we've got roses at the top and at the bottom, and the ones at the top are dripping blood, and we have roses down the sprayed edges as well, all around them, so top, side and bottom. This is a Fairy Loot edition of this book. It's a YA fantasy. It was the final one in the 2022 year, which is the first year I started getting Fairy Loot. And I kind of want to do I've done a prediction of which books I think I'll enjoy the most from that year, and I haven't read them all yet, so I can go back to that and see if what I actually think, how far away from my prediction it is. I want to do that comparison video, so I definitely need to read this book. So interesting. I'm not sure if this is going to be for me, which is why it's one of the ones that hasn't been read yet. But it might be a fun time. I mean, the premise sounds fun. There's vampires, there's a circus, there's a love triangle, which I'm not a fan of. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully it's going to be a fun time. If not, hopefully it'll give me amazing stuff to rant about. I don't know. I'm not giving the book what's the word? Justice? It's not the right word, but I need to go in with an open mind. I do think it's really pretty. I do think the cover is really pretty. And I'm sure loads of people will love it, and I'm sure they're going to have a great time with it. But I just don't feel it's got things in it that's going to excite me. But I'm very happy to be proved wrong. So we will see what happens with that one. And then we move on to Psionics and Divination is the last subject being studied. So for an O, it is studying Rewind Time. And for that you have to read the debut book of a favourite author. And this I also struggled with. Favourite authors, I tend to have read quite a lot of their stuff, and it includes their debut. So Zen Cho, I've read everything. Catherine Arden, I've read all of her early stuff. The Rick Riordan, I've read everything. Angie Thomas, I've read all her early stuff. John Gwynne, I've read all the early stuff. Sanderson, I've read the early stuff. Robin Hobb, now as Robin Hobb, I've read stuff, but that is her pen name. She has actually written books under her actual name which I forget. I think it's Megan Lindholm or something like that. So there was a possibility of reading The Harpy's Flight, which was published in 1983, or The Wizard of Pigeons. I think Harpy's Flight was possibly a short story. I don't know. Anyway, that was a possibility, but I'm wanting to read books off my shelf if possible, and if not, ones I can get from the library. So that was a possibility, but I couldn't get it from the library. Nadia Corafor was a possibility. Her first book was Zara, I think it's Zara and the Wind Singer or Wind Slayer, and my library of course doesn't have that because it's annoying. And then Terry Pratchett, I haven't read The Carpet People, so that was another option. But what I think I'm probably going to go for is Jason Reynolds. When I Was the Greatest was his first novel. He had written poetry collection before, but his first novel was When I Was the Greatest, and I'm really enjoying reading Jason Reynolds' work. I love Long Way Down, his novel in verse. I really enjoyed All American Boys that he co-wrote with Brendan Keeley. And I have been enjoying his middle grade track series about a running club. So I'm really in the mood for picking up another Jason Reynolds. So I'm going to be picking that one up. So I'll just put a little placeholder in. Let's get it. Yeah, Thug can be my placeholder for Jason Reynolds. And then we move on to Q. Q in Psionics and Divination is studying the significance of reoccurrence. So this is to read a book where there is a letter, well, let's try that again. There is a letter in the title that occurs 4 or more times. And I have found one for this, and it is the letter A in Amari and the Despicable Wonders. So we have A and another A in Amari. We have an A in and thankfully there is also an A in the word despicable. So we have 4 A's. So hooray! And if we really wanted to clutch at straws, it's by B.B. Alston, whose surname begins with A. So it's all about the A's. So there is definitely 4 A's in the title and 5 if we also want to include the author's name. And I'm so excited for Amari. I can't wait. I'm so hyped. If you haven't seen it already, there is a I have a video where I'm talking about how excited I am for this book, and that we're going to do a live show starting it off and do a live show at the end talking about it. So thrilled to have managed to get this on the list. Okay, final book now. We have Level D, Introduction to Tarot 2, is to choose a random tarot card and pick something off that, and that's going to signify a book. I've got some Fairy Loot tarot cards in here. I'm going to shuffle them and then I'm going to pick one, which is going to be exciting. These are quite hard to shuffle because they're really big cards. I really can't shuffle them. It's sort of. It's not. No, I'm not going to show you my terrible shuffling with these at all. I don't really need to shuffle them because I've no idea the order of them. I did have them in an order roughly. So I'm just going to pick one now. And do you know what? I'm just going to pick this top one here. So actually, let me show you. So shuffly shufflies, shuffly shuffly shuffly, shuffly shufflies, shuffly 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 shufflies, shuffly 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 shuffly. I don't know why. No one really cares, but okay. Picking the top one. Oh, here we go. We have the Chariot. And I did know who this was, but I've totally forgotten. But anyway, we've got an arrow here in the corner, and then we've got some leaves. We have a very serious looking person here. He is wearing a dark leather vest by the look of it. He's holding a spear. And he is looking a bit glary. That is very stern face there. And behind him is They sort of look a little bit like planets. We've got lots of circles, some with like a dissected middle, some with other circles around them. There's a star. We've got green leaves. Oh, he's got two wolves howling up either side of him. I will have a little ponder about what I can link to a book from this. Okay, I had a few options in here, but I'm going for, I mentioned there were sort of leaves around the bottom here, and leaves kind of on his shoulders and sort of next to his elbow and the back of this wolf's back. So that is the bit I'm taking from this card because it links into a book that I want to get on here, and that is Greenwild by Parry Thomas. Greenwild, The World Behind the Door, which is a middle grade fantasy. I definitely wanted to get this on here because this is a book that came third in the Middle Grade Readers' Choice Awards 2023, and I want to be reading the books that came in there. So yeah, sorry, just interrupted. I do definitely want to be reading this because I want to be reading the top 5 books from that list. So I now have 8 books. Let me show them to you. Dilly dilly dee. If I can pick them up. Oh, I can't pick them up. Come on. Think strong thoughts. Okay, here we go. So I have the Henna Wars, which was the siren emoji. Ember Spark, which was released in May, my birth month. The Sky on Fire, which has a castle on the cover. Queen Bee, which is the Waterstones parcel there, which is between 100 and 201 pages. Crule Illusions, which is a vampire book. Placeholder for favourite author's debut, that's Jason Reynolds, When I Was the Greatest. Book with lots of the same letter. I've gone for A, that is Amari and the Despicable Wonders. And the tarot card, I chose the leaves, and that has got Greenwild. And that is Greenwild. So there we go. I have 8 books. I feel there is plenty to be reading, and I'm going to put them down. That is quite heavy. I am not going to talk about what I could read for Scribe because I think that is plenty. What I might do is, after maybe I've read a few of them, I may do another video talking about Scribe and things that I could read, and if I can think of any crossovers. I will allow myself to cross over from these books if they fit prompts in either Alchemy or Scribe, because I feel that's fine, because I'm trying to do more than one subject, which you do not need to for this readathon. And there we go. I have actually managed to fit in all the books that I wanted to in this list, which is brilliant. There could be other ones that I may want to slot in. I am also, pardon me, continuing reading 2 books I didn't finish in August. I'll just grab those quickly. So I am continuing to read She, He, They by Shyla Baylor. How We Talk About Gender and Why It Matters. I did actually start reading this in April for Transgo April. But I wanted to make sure I was giving it a good amount of time and really kind of like allow myself to think on each kind of part of it. I read a bit more in May, and then I found life a bit difficult and reading a heavier non-fiction was not the right thing, but I picked it up again in August, and I have been really enjoying getting back into this and reading this again. I have been tabbing certain parts of it as well, so I definitely want to keep reading this one. Another book that I will keep reading, which I also started in August, is the 4th book in Pages & Co, The Book Smugglers by Anna James. I'm reading this with Kelly from Kelly Reads a Lot, and also with Stacey, and we have a little chat on my Discord. So those are all the books that I'm reading in August. Please let me know what you are... August. I've nearly finished this video. September. These are books I'm reading in September. Please let me know what you're looking forward to reading in September. Are you a mood reader? Do you like to have a list and work through it? Have you got goals set up that you'd like to achieve? And are you taking part in any readathons? I would love to know. Please get chatty in the comments, because you know I love a chat. Happy reading, everyone.